trade, you have to take your legal cap off and you have to put your trading cap back on.
But that sounds like a, everyday job of a lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, I've got mixed emotions about it.
All your clients are crypto. Do you ever sleep?
That happens almost on a weekly basis.
Can you name the cryptocurrency that you own?
So in the future, you'll be able to watch basketball in your house, almost as if you were there.
Don't you get tired of the word crypto?
No, yes. I love this industry.
Hey guys, this is Catherine Ross. We're here with Cal Evans. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Finally meet you, Cal. So, how did you enter the crypto craze in the first place?
I was working in law, and it's a funny story. I actually went to a house party in California. In California, there's a tradition of standing around in the garage if you don't know anybody at a house party. And I saw a mining rig in the corner. I knew what graphics cards were. I instinctively was curious about it, managed to then knock it over and almost break it, and then ended up having a conversation with the guy who owned it, and he introduced me to Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and I instantly fell in love with it.
So you decided to research, or did you just all of a sudden start working with crypto? How did that happen? Did you find a first client?
Yeah, so I started researching it out of my own interest. I'd always been in the startup world, so I was very used to new technologies and how new companies operate. And what happened was very fortuitous. About 3 months after that encounter, I had a new client that reached out to us and was conducting an ICO. They wanted some trademark work done and some various other work around corporate structure, and that was really our first kind of intro into it before we switched completely into crypto, and I did the same.
I was always wondering, if it's all so new, how can a lawyer just prepare a company for an upcoming initial token event?
Yeah, it's very hard. There are a lot of lawyers who have never worked in finance, never worked in compliance, and they kind of jump in and say, well, I'm a crypto lawyer now. I was very fortunate that I was always in technology. I was always a not-so-secret geek. I knew what graphics cards were, I understood the premise of it, and then I also studied finance. So I think you do have to have a unique skill set to understand really what this is and how it works.
Did you ever have that kind of situation when you did prepare for one type of regulation, but it happened to be something else, or you had difficulties afterwards?
Yeah, that happens almost on a weekly basis. You kind of get something ready for a client, then the client changes their mind or the regulator changes their mind. So
I see. What happens more often?
It's normally the client revisiting.
Really?
Yeah, they'll revisit the decision they've kind of initially made and then think, well, we liked that, but now we kind of like this, which is okay.
But that sounds like a, everyday job of a lawyer.
Exactly.
So there is no difference between a crypto client, if we can put it that way, and a regular client?
Well, I don't have any regular clients anymore.
Yeah.
They're all crypto. So yeah, the difference is different types of crypto. So ICOs, crypto finance, crypto funds, crypto media.
Don't you get tired of the word crypto?
I do. I dream about it now as well. It's,
all your clients are crypto. Do you ever sleep?
No, that's actually the truth. I put my phone down for the panel we just had. I was in there 32 minutes and there's already emails and telegrams and WhatsApps and WeChats, and never ends. Never ends.
So is it possible to handle that kind of pressure?
Yes, coffee helps a lot, or I recommend something stronger occasionally.
But can you recommend from a legal standpoint?
From a legal standpoint, you just need to really, it's time management.
So you're also a board member of the British Blockchain Association?
That's correct, yeah.
So what is that?
So the British Blockchain Association was founded as an organisation to assist companies that are working in blockchain kind of network and understand the regulatory platform a lot more. They're a scientific compliance body, so they were actually started by mostly scientists that understood blockchain and how it operated, and they last month released the first issue of the Journal of the British Blockchain Association. And interestingly enough, within the time that's been released, it's now actually been put into the British Library. It's been recognised as a journalised publication with scientific value, and so it's a great information source.
Is it governmental institution or it's private? It's
private. It's very common in the United Kingdom for privatized non-government organizations, NGOs, to formulate, because it helps create that balance.
You've mentioned that you live in California.
Correct.
Right. So what do you think about the legal standpoint on the blockchain technology and crypto assets, let me put it that way, in the US?
I think it is an incredible minefield at the moment in terms of legislation. And you've got the primary market, which is ICOs, you've got the secondary market, which is just trading, and they all come with their own challenges and their own obstacles to be dealt with effectively.
So you think it's fair? Because I think that kind of legislation is not that kind of open to the technology, and there are a lot of people think that, you know, rules are too strict for the industry. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've got mixed emotions about it. I think the legislation has existed for years to deal with cryptocurrencies and...
For years, like since 2013 or 2008?
Almost before that. I mean, if anybody's watched the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, you'll learn about what they call pink sheet trading. And it's effectively the same thing. It's marginalized pink sheet trading, usually under $5 of value, and the whole network exists to trade it. And they could switch it overnight. But what they don't, and they're being very clever with this, that's not been done because the minute that happens, it's all a security market, which removes the global presence element to it and effectively could really hurt the United States.
A lot of definition of the crypto assets. Most common ones are security token and utility token. Can you explain to a reader or a viewer who has never heard about it, what's the difference?
So a utility token is a token that has a fundamental use. A great example of this I use is an airline reward scheme. So we've worked with a couple of airlines that are looking to tokenize their reward schemes. It is a utility token. It has a utility nature. Some people like to expand this out a lot, so it fits outside of the legislation. But effectively, that's what it does. It has a utility purpose. A security token is the opposite. It's regulated, and it gives an individual a fractionalized ownership to something because you are owning a security. So it means that that has to be handled in a very different way. A great example of security tokens are the guys over at the LAT Foundation who have security tokenized assets. So that's normally the punchline. Think of it like a product and a service. Okay, if you are providing a service, then you are usually a utility token. If you are providing a product or you are backing it with something, you are usually a security token. That's a rule of thumb. And it's important to note now that the US especially has spoken about something actually starting life as a security token and then becoming a utility token as it evolves.
That's possible?
Yeah, that's what a lot of commentators actually regard Bitcoin as having done, and Ethereum. When the Ethereum ICO happened, a lot of commentators actually say that was a security token. Yeah. But now they regard it as a utility token. So it is possible that they can evolve.
Have you ever heard the comparison of the crypto market to the derivatives market?
Yeah.
Do you think we will see the same regulations, the same fate?
Yeah, commodities trading and FX trading actually gives a fantastic protocol and backbone for everything we do in the crypto market. And it's the reason why guys that have been in those markets do very well in the crypto market. Will it evolve into that? I think it will. I think in a lot of jurisdictions, you do see it. But this is where, and it comes back to your earlier question, you have the difference between security tokens and utility tokens. So there's no reason why both can't exist, why I can't have a currency that's operated by blockchain technology that I use in my wallet to pay for things, but then I can go online and trade an EFT commodity-based token, which is the same thing. In an economical sense, the actual difference between it is what's referred to as oracling. How the transactions are confirmed is what creates them as different.
In your personal opinion, and professional probably at the same time, what is the most crypto-friendly and blockchain-friendly country so far in the world?
There's a couple that are showing themselves out to be pioneers. We're seeing
Talking
a lot
about Malta?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot from Malta. We've seen a lot from Switzerland. Even the United Kingdom is stepping up and taking a standpoint.
Really?
We've got a lot going on at the moment. We're leaving the European Union. There's the expression bigger fish to fry, where there's kind of more to be dealing with. Yeah, but the Bank of England, the Treasury, the FCA, they have a blockchain task force. I've worked with them on that. I've been speaking with them. They are very aware of what's going on, and they are working hard to orchestrate it. But if we always remember, the UK has a lot of offshore jurisdictions. Gibraltar is part of the United Kingdom, so they have the luxury of seeing what happens there before they bring it to the mainland.
Are you a crypto trader yourself?
I am, yes, yeah.
Can you disclose what kind of crypto assets do you own?
I don't mind disclosing those at all. I've got a pretty balanced portfolio. I made a choice to move away from the legacy coins, which Ethereum, Bitcoin, about 4 months ago.
Why?
I think the trading is more exciting and more interesting in the smaller tokens that we see. And I'm a big advocate of the risk-reward spectrum. I like the concept of more risk is better reward.
Can you name the cryptocurrency that you own?
There are some key players in my portfolio at the moment. There is Seek, which is fantastic. There is Everex, which is great. There is ONG, which are very, very good. And I will just differentiate between these. These have actual fantastic projects behind them. Seek have just announced that they've signed a partnership with the NBA to provide, that's the National Basketball Association, to provide virtual reality versions of basketball games as they happen. So in the future, you'll be able to watch basketball in your house, almost as if you were there. I love this industry, and I'll just digress slightly, but when I talk about what we've achieved, you know, we've worked with companies that have developed VR solutions so doctors can train better. Companies like Avcash that have developed wallets that can be used by people within poor countries in Africa. They've already started looking at projects. Other projects are building hospitals in the Middle East. But this has all been done through ICOs, through crypto, through blockchain, and it's hugely rewarding.
As a lawyer, what would you recommend to a crypto trader?
I think trading is very, very, very different from law. My dad used to give me the expression that in life you have to wear different caps. And I think when you trade, you have to take your legal cap off and you have to put your trading cap back on. So I'd say to anybody, when you're trading, be in your trading mindset. If you're thinking of legislation or compliance, be in your compliance mindset. If you try and do everything at once, it won't end well.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
Cointelegraph. Like, subscribe, and hodl.